Fairy Tales from the Fairy Trail, miles 1245.9 to 1375.5. Helped by our friends and family, we began to make our way through Troll Country when disturbing news reached our ears. 2 great dragons were doing battle in the far north, and their war was so great that the smoke of it was filling the air thousands of miles away. And so it was that as we walked through the smog for a full day, as we climbed the rocks and stones from one country into the next, and as we did so, we saw the marks of other fire beings that took their cue from the great dragons and began to burn the forest. Thus, when the smoke had cleared, we met an elven ranger who preserved the trail on which we walked. She told us this story of why the dragons inspired the other beings to mimic their behavior. Once upon a time, she said, the creatures of magic gathered together in council, for all was not right in the world. The humans, they cried, are growing and building much faster than we can prepare for. They are carving up the wild, and there is nowhere for us to go. We need champions who will fight for us against the humans. But the elves were silent because they knew that the Lord of the Mountain loved the humans and had given them the earth. Still, the creatures of magic could not be denied, as the humans had exceeded their bounds and were taking more than their right. And so they devised a contest that would show the wisest and strongest of the creatures to lead the others and act as emissaries to the humans. The trolls were strong, and the centaurs were wise. The nymphs were graceful, and the fairies were kind. But only one creature was all of these things, and they exceeded everyone in every corner. And these were the dragons. And so the dragons flew highest. They moved the greatest boulders and solved the hardest riddles. They made the soundest judgments and dealt the greatest mercies. And so all creatures of magic and the earth were in awe of the dragons and sought to mimic them. And thus from then on, when the dragons act, all of the creatures take notice and follow them. But what happened with the humans, I asked? For while humanity has been improving and actively seeking to preserve nature, we still take far more than was our right. The ranger smiled sadly and said, an agreement was made, and while humans occasionally forget it, it is not long before the dragons remind them of their oaths. I stepped onto the fairy trail and stepped into a fairy tale, and though my name was lost to me, I found my path clear and free. So now there is nothing left to do but walk a mile in another's shoes, and hope to find what was lost to me, the mountain lord my way to keep, until I find my way back home, where I might live true and known, forevermore, forevermore.